Long ago, a descendant of Erdrick the Great defeated the Dragonlord and recovered the mystical ball of light in Alefgard. Under the rule of his children and their descendants, there was prosperity throughout the land for generations. One day, however, this peace was shattered by the wicked Sorcerer Hargon. Now it is time for you to claim your birthright as the Prince of Midenhall, for Erdrick's blood also flows through your veins. With the Prince of Cannock and the Princess of Moonbrooke by your side, you are about to embark on a most adventurous journey. Use your strength and cunning, for you are about to enter the world of Dragon Warrior 2. From our good friends at Enix, released in September of 1990. Second game in the Dragon Warrior series, obviously, as it's called Dragon Warrior 2. Also was known as Dragon Quest II Pantheon of Evil Spirits. Was released in 1987 for the MSX originally. And, yeah. The story centers on the Prince of Midenhall, who is ordered to stop an evil wizard as he destroys Moonbrooke Castle. On his adventure, he is accompanied by his two cousins, the Prince of Cannock and the Princess of Moonbrooke. The game greatly expands on the series formula for the first game by having a larger party and much more areas to explore. So, big initial difference between this game and the first game is that we have a party in this game. Wow, how about that? The game allows the player to control more than one character, and it is the first entry in the Dragon Quest or Warrior series to do so. The game introduced a party system where, instead of beginning the game, with an entire party like in previous computer RPGs, the player begins the game with only one character and gradually recruits more members during the course of the game. The player controls his or her characters as they move in the game world. They can search treasure chests, talk, trade with villagers, equip weapons and armor, and cast spells. Basically, like any other Dragon Warrior game, we have random battles. Battle mode in this game introduces a group of monsters, which was not available in the first game, where battles were just one-on-one. And, yeah. We must fight many monsters in this game, just like the first one. We want to get our levels up and get gold to buy better weapons and armor. The game offers a few spots to save, like in most towns. Talking to a king or minister saves the game. It also allows deletion and moving of saved games. This was an upgrade from the Japanese version, which utilized a password system to restore progress. Dragon Warrior 2 is noted greatly for expanding the gameplay from the previous game. It is also the first game to feature multiple heroes and enemies in battles, as well as a sailing ship. Unlike Final Fantasy, released the same year, which only allowed the player to dock ship at ports, Dragon Quest II allowed the player to land the ship anywhere, allowing the entire game world to be explored in an open-ended manner. It's also the first game to have weapons that cast spells when used in battle in the Dragon Warrior series. In addition, it offers a wide array of spells and items and a much larger world than the first game. It also expanded the inventory management system of its predecessor by giving each character an individual inventory, and places a greater emphasis on conservative item management between the characters. The game takes place roughly 100 years after Dragon Warrior. Hargon attacks the castle of Moonbrooke, kills the king, runs off with the princess. One lone guard makes his way towards the kingdom of Midenhall. There, with his dying breath, he informs the king of the dire circumstances from the evil wizard known as Hargon. Hargon, by the way, becomes an enemy in the Dragon Quest Monsters games. So the prince is ordered by his old lazy dad to go off alone, but is later joined by his two cousins. After finding the prince, who leaves on a similar journey as the Prince of Midenhall, the Prince of Cannock, we have to rescue the Princess of Moonbrooke. It's up to the Prince of Midenhall to find them, join forces, and together defeat Hargon. Along the way, we secure a ship, which allows us to travel to new lands and new continents, including Alefgard, where the original Dragon Warrior took place. There, we meet the grandson of the Dragonlord, the villain from the previous game, who gives the party valuable information regarding the 5 crests. By collecting them, we can create the Charm of Rubis, which allows us to fight against Hargon and all of his illusions. So since we have 3 different characters in this game, let's talk about classes for a bit. Our main hero, the Prince of Midenhall, is the basic warrior type. He can use almost any armor and weapon in the game, and has no natural magic ability at all. Though, as we talked about earlier, there are some weapons and items that can be used to cast spells in battle. The Prince of Cannock is the first character to join the party and is a blend of classic warrior and wizard types. Kind of a red mage. Has a lot in common with what later becomes the well-balanced hero class of the game. He cannot use as wide a variety of weapons and armor as the Prince of Midenhall, but compensates this with the ability to use magic. However, it should also be noted that his magic is not as powerful as that wielded by the princess, who is your final character to join and is a mage type. She cannot use a wide variety of weapons and armor at all, but compensates for this with the ability to be the most powerful magic caster in the party. The game world of Dragon Warrior, Alefgard, is included in the map of Dragon Warrior 2, albeit in a slightly reduced scale. And, oddly enough, we can win the game without ever having set foot there. The song that is played when wandering the fields of Dragon Warrior Unknown World is also played when the hero is in that area alone. Dragon Quest II is the first game to include a game of chance, which is the lottery tickets. It was also the first game to have multiple key types and to include warp gates. In the original Famicom versions, passwords were used, but the NES featured a save version. The storyline introduction from Moonbrooke, which you saw here, is exclusive in Dragon Warrior 2. Dragon Quest II, the game starts right with the injured soldier entering the castle. And a lot of thought went into this game, and it was believed that a lot of players would play Dragon Warrior 2 and just not play Dragon Warrior 1 at all. So, how about that? This game did a few things right compared to the first game. I think the first game is still a little bit better. It feels a little less... The pacing is better, I will say. And Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 are very slow games. And when I say pacing, I mean it's more gradual, I guess. And that's part of the thing with not having an open-ended world to just run off and explore, kind of like what Final Fantasy did with the ship, which this review here mentions. It's good though. It was a fun game, and was a big success in Japan, having sold about 2.5 million copies, roughly. Generally known that it remedies some of the problems having the first game. The encounter rate is a little and the enemies are a little but it's good stuff.